Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen Persistent Universe monthly report, looking at what the devs at Cloud Imperium Games have been working on for this alpha MMO over the last few weeks and what they're focused on now in July 2023, a lot of which looks to be planned for going out to players in the near future. Let's start with ships and vehicles. The Tumbril Storm Light Assault Tank is nearing the end of its LOD level of detail 0 stage, with some areas approaching final content. Materials were also polished, internal damage was built, and most of the LODs were created. The Ayapoa Santok Yai is awaiting its second grey box gate review pass. It failed the first time around due to a missing dashboard implementation plan. They have now created a dashboard and generated the bulk of art for it. They simply need to make it past the gate and they will officially be in the LOD 0 stage. The Santok Yai, that Xi'an medium fighter, that cockpit there, also received a polish pass before the team moved on to the rest of the ship. Ship art then worked with narrative on the Xi'an language translations, which will appear in the ship's UI and character inner thought system. We also know that Cloud Imperium have been working on, or have just finished, the new Fury LX variant, which is either a deluxe or racing version of that Fury. Mission features. They worked on cargo and pyro-based missions. They're currently developing cargo hauling and ship piracy missions that leverage the new cargo grid and freight elevator features. The development of a new cargo and escort-focused dynamic event began. Blockade Runner will replace the Ninetales lockdown, keeping its strengths and removing its weaknesses by using new features and proven designs. Work was completed on the ship cover-up mission set. This entails scraping the hull off a criminal ship to make it unidentifiable to approaching security forces. The team also was tasked with tuning the new player experience into a modular mission that can be run in any location with the correct setup. So you don't have to just have it at Area 18, you can have it at any of the major locations. For combat missions, most quantum travel capable ships were added to the pool that missions can spawn from. However, some don't make narrative sense, so they weren't added to particular pools. So criminals, they won't make use of the Drake Cutlass Blue. As part of this work, the game's ships were divided into difficulty bands derived from data, which was gathered from pitting every ship against each other 1,000 times or more. A technical design document was completed for the system that governs player reputations with orgs. This relates to things that players can do outside of a mission, such as killing an org member or rival players. Gameplay features also made improvements to the Defend Korea mission, including splitting trespasser tracking between the station's interior and exterior to help players better understand where to search. They are also prototyping a means to take the turrets temporarily offline at the station and do a momentary ping on intruders, which may or may not be used. Work continued on the data heist, retrieval consignment, and ship escort missions alongside the ship trespass feature. Mission features worked with active features to get the ledge grab feature enabled in the Persistent Universe, seeing it through the QA and go no-go processes. This feature will allow players to grab onto ledges while in mid-air, significantly improving climbing and allowing players to reach ship entrances that were previously out of reach. They also made a pass on the prison escape mission alongside the US Persistent Universe team to ensure the new feature could be used to its fullest. Gameplay features worked on the vehicle tractor beams, with relevant vehicles being set up to support the feature. For example, the upcoming Argo SRV was tested internally and towed its first ships. The resource network also progressed well, with the team pleased with its current state. They then moved on to supporting resource network relevant features, including engineering and life support. The Arena Commander feature team worked on polishing and bug fixing for Alpha 3.20. Engineering also completed the new competitive scoring and team balance systems. There are a ton of improvements to Arena Commander coming in 3.20. Also, Tank Royale, the mode's Magda location failed its go-no-go gate due to underwhelming visuals and gameplay. In response, design worked on 2 replacement locations to provide greater variety and more visual interest. Daymar and Maya, which is Liz's second planet, where the Good Doctor map is set. We're getting quite close to where sort of sandworms live now. Design then reworked all existing racetracks to utilise the new racing system being developed for release in a future patch. The team concluded work on 3 new experimental modes that feature the new flight system, master modes. Assumedly they are talking about nav mode versus combat mode there. This is going to be working for free fly, dual and Endless Vandal Swarm, apparently, I assume in 3.20. The character and weapon features team began extending item wear to weaponry. This means that as a weapon is used, it ages, or even if it's sort of like it's kept in poor condition, it will become increasingly worn. And for example, if a weapon is used while dirty, it will accumulate wear faster. As a weapon becomes worn, it will become less reliable and may overheat faster and start misfiring. This can cause minor and potentially even major jamming. This will require the user to spend time fixing the malfunction. They looked into a minor rework of the inventory system. The current inventory screen is great for managing loadouts and inventory storage, but they've been looking at options for speeding up looting while in combat. As part of this, the team experimented with a new UI that remains in first-person view, allowing players to assess combat-related items and then quickly loot or exchange medpens, ammunition, grenades, and weapons. The animation team worked on facial animations for a new character set. They also progressed with their ongoing work on boids, which relates to flying animals sort of in flocks or swarms, typically smaller creatures. The character art team continued to work on the Dusters and Headhunters gangs, creating new outfits for the former and polishing existing items for the latter. Tech Animation integrated their long-awaited changes to the DNA system. This enables new head assets and provides a pipeline that will open new ways to author and customize new game content. AI Tech finalized their work on dynamic pathfinding regeneration. This feature allows dynamic paths and NPCs to move around objects and blockages. They continued developing a feature to allow NPCs to enter and exit a ship's airlock from EVA. AI Tech also supported existing features and upcoming release builds, including allowing NPCs to use moving platforms. The EU locations team progressed with closing out rooms for Rundown Station. The station has some great TLC, assumingly meaning tender love and care, and they hope players will enjoy exploring these new areas. They completed tasks for an upcoming event before beginning various new projects. The Sandbox team closed out Pyro's outposts and moved on to planetary distribution work. Development of underground facilities continued too, with the team exploring new areas and further expanding these already considerable locations. The Organics team continued cloud development for planets and worked on new and interesting flora that players will find in Pyro. The VFX team increased support for several locations across Pyro, including Ruins Station interior and exterior, and various derelict settlements and outposts. They are also supporting several new platforms on Horizon, including falling and rustling leaves, water fountains, and more. Various ships saw a load of VFX work as well. Branding worked closely with EU Locations 2 on navigational signage for New Babbage and began working on various artwork assets for an upcoming event. They also progressed on artwork for Pyro, including final touch-ups on navigational signage for Ruin Station. The branding team began work on underground facilities as well, which involved creating different mock-ups for the commercial lobbies. The lighting team worked on outposts for the Pyro system, helping to sell the wilderness feel. They also worked on several other initiatives for Pyro alongside the locations team. The narrative team have been further developing and populating Pyro. As a lawless system, it presents a lot of interesting opportunities for the team to explore how existing game systems may change and take on new nuances. The team worked on further outlining mission content and providers, refining the unique food options that will be available at some of the remote stations, and detailing signage and graffiti that will be placed around various locations. Narrative also continued their final push towards the release of Alpha 3.20. This included naming and writing descriptions of numerous assets, reviewing new text for gameplay features, and further refining new mission content. Additionally, they made deep dives into an alien species lore as xenolinguistics development continued. This involved listening to new audio samples and debating which style of speech best fits with the culture and lore. Engine, networking, and graphic stuff. The core engine team made a load of improvements and sort of improved the physics code. The entity system tech team transferred to the core engine team, so their focus is still going to be on everything related to server meshing, but they're bringing this under the core engine umbrella now to improve greater efficiency and communication between the teams there. The entity system tech team also integrated their recent improvements into the main development branch. They are now working on a heap of optimizations. Online services, they completed a major refactor of the inventory system. These changes won't be visible to players, but will touch on every inventory type prototype in the game, with the goal of being to address some of the long-standing bugs and improve persistent entity streaming, PES, performance and stability. The Planet Tech team are wrapping up their latest tools and working on the new water system. Gen 12 and Vulkan also received various bug fixes, and these impacted rendering and streaming performance. I am hoping to see Vulkan support properly in Alpha 3.20. Alongside the UI Tech and Squadron 42 teams, graphics improved the performance and visual quality of the area map. The interior and FPS mini-maps now use the render layers feature, and they're making more and more progress with those new maps. VFX are preparing to make some changes to weapon effect setups. Lightning was also improved. For example, lightning cascades can be timed with a new controller, and ship shields now trigger when struck by lightning. Boom! That's it for your Persistent Universe monthly report updates. There is a huge amount of work on Alpha 3.20 there. Are you excited for that? Are you excited for that patch and potentially a load of new gameplay coming? Huge amount of new missions. There's also huge swathes of work on Pyro, and that makes sense because Pyro is a focus for Cloud Imperium, that new star system. Do you think we're going to see Pyro, at least in testing in some form, even if it's just Ivacari, by the end of the year? Or do you think, no, actually it's going to be sort of next year now? Do you think we're going to see Vulkan integration in 3.20, or will it be the patch afterwards, or even later than that? Is the new dynamic event they're working on, is that the barge heists, or is it a totally new one, a different one? Barge heists being, you basically pay for a location of where a barge is being attacked somewhere on the surface, or I say the surface, in the atmosphere of Crusader, and you go there, and lots of other players can buy the location, and you're basically fighting over these boxes, which you can open up and loot. But there's also Crusader security there, there's also the Ninetales there. Sort of a very hectic Payday 2 type scenario where you're looting while fighting. Do you think Cloud Imperium aren't talking enough about serve meshing, and are you concerned about that? Whatever your thoughts, I'd really love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you've got any other questions, or if there's something else you're particularly excited about, please tell me. We will be getting the Squadron 42 monthly report update up in the next couple of days as well. There are so many space games. Star Citizen is obviously king. Fight me. But how do you keep yourself secure and private while in space, away from the prying eyes of Big Pirate and Big Space? NordVPN.com/BoredGamer. That gives you potentially the best protection in cyberspace. Oh, see what I did there? Stay safer online with a secure private internet connection that also helps you get access to the content you want. Let me give you some testimonials that I'll just make up now. I just turned off NordVPN and got ganked by a load of pirates. I turned off NordVPN and my legs fell off. There you have it. Get NordVPN, because if you're not going to believe those testimonials that I just made up, what are you going to believe? You can grab it from the links below. It's good and it's super cheap and I use it. There you go. Boom. Something else that's good is our ship giveaway. Salvage is the newest big gameplay loop at the moment in-game, and we want to help you get involved with that, so we're giving away a Drake Vulture light salvage ship with lifetime insurance. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. More details in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel with the join button under our videos, or becoming a Patreon, or donating, or even just subscribing and liking and commenting on our videos and sharing them. You'll get an occasional exclusive video. There's polls and posts to get involved with. Please consider joining them, because it really, really helps us out. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback, please chuck it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.